A rabbi was banned from ever entering Israel for telling the truth and defending Muslims. Now, if you guys follow me on Instagram and see what I post there, you guys see that I criticize Israel pretty harshly. I go pretty off the rails on that platform, but I think it's only fair if we talk about the positives. So before I jump into this and start breaking everything down, this is a really cool story, because if we're going to come up and bash on a community of people or even tell the truth about a community of people, like, let's be real about this. But if we're going to talk about a group of people in a negative manner and criticize the negative things they're doing, we also need to point out the positives. And I think this is the only way where we can get things to actually change. Fixing situations and getting things to be better goes two different directions, right? We see the negatives, we see the bad things that are happening, and we point that out and we make that apparent to everybody. But then whenever the community of people that we're criticizing does the things we like, we need to also give congratulations to that. We need to shine light on the positives as well. The way I'm looking at this is it's the same thing as like negative reinforcement versus positive reinforcement. I think it's the best situation when we do both. So this is a really cool story. I'm really glad this is happening. It's like restores faith in humanity for me, at least a little bit. So jumping into it, check this clip out I got for you.
They will kill you! I told him, don't worry. I show you a miracle. Don't protect me. Just look. I go in between hundreds of thousands of Muslims. Everybody welcomes me. It's not a religious conflict. The conflict is a conflict of against the occupation, against the genocide.
So that clip you just watched is a powerful speech from Rabbi Beck. He's talking about how he took a trip to Iran and talked about how they treated him so well. Other people within his community told him that he's going to lose his life if he associates with Muslims. And he said, watch this, like, check out this. I'll show you guys a miracle, like making a joke out of the situation. And then talks about how he was treated really well. Now, there's also multiple interviews of him. You can go look up Rabbi Beck and a bunch of stuff will pop up. But he talks about this pretty in depth and how well the Muslims have always treated him, especially in Iran and the Shia community. Now, I briefly talked about this on Instagram, and there was some people, and I before I explain, like, I will say they're kind of justified, but there's some people who were like, oh, I still don't trust them. Any rabbi is bad. I don't want us to look at things like that. I don't want us to be so doom and gloom. Like, when somebody is seeming to be like a bully, right? We'll put this in a perspective like this. Say you have a bully in high school and the bully's messing with you all the time. And then the bully's brother comes up to you and starts defending you. You should take that, right? Whenever somebody grants you that kind of mercy and even support, just take it. Like, if something comes out of it, then something comes out of it. But we need to look at this in a positive manner. We can't just always be doom and gloom. Like, I get it. We live in a crazy time in history. Everything's messed up, but we also need to look at the bright side. Sometimes, like when we have these positive moments, just accept it, guys. I'm telling you, your life's going to be a lot better. But that's not to say that the people who are very hesitant are wrong, because they're not. They're not entirely wrong either, because it's fair to be hesitant. But whenever we have these complex manners, we're always supposed to refer back to Quran. We're always supposed to refer back to the Word of God and see what it says in there. But in the Quran, chapter 28, verse 56 says, Allah guides who He wills, and He knows best who are fit to be guided. Now, this is probably one of those cases. Now, we don't know the work of God. We can't ever really say for sure. But when somebody is a Jewish rabbi defending Muslims, I can't explain it in any other fashion. And he's getting disciplined just as bad, if not worse, as the Muslims who are coming at Israel. So he's facing a lot of backlash. His quality of life is severely suffering because of this. So he's not gaining anything for fighting for the Muslims. He's not gaining anything fighting against Israel. He's just losing. But in his heart, he knows he's doing the right thing. Now, looking into this a little bit more, Rabbi Beck has actually traveled to Iran quite a few times. In 2006, he attended the Holocaust Denier Committee. I didn't know that this was a thing, or the Holocaust Denier Conference, my bad. I didn't know this was a thing, but it was pretty cool to see and like look up and see some clips from it. Even though, you know, we didn't have cell phones back then, there was still some stuff we could see. And another one of his quotes that really stood out to me is he came out and told everyone that Israel is the most dangerous place for the Jewish people. And this is because all the negative things that Israel is causing puts a bad name on the Jewish people. It makes it very difficult for them because, you know, you're going to be attacked. Even if you're somebody who doesn't support the Zionism, when somebody finds out what religion you're in, they're going to be against you, right? There's going to be a negative connotation just right off the rip. And so I understand what he's saying severely, and it was really cool to see somebody speaking out against that. But the big thing from Rabbi Beck that has been standing out to me a lot, and it just stuck in my mind and I can't get it out, it reminds me a lot of the Ottoman Empire. So the beanie I used to wear all the time, it's just because I severely loved the Ottoman Empire. All the time people would come at me, they're like, that's not a symbol of Islam. It's like, oh, of course, yeah, good job, buddy. Like, you got me there. But I've always been really fascinated in the Ottoman Empire, and that came from like the Age of Empires game that I used to play as a kid. But that's a whole different conversation. I could rant about that way too long. Now, you guys can call me dumb, call me stupid, call me crazy, whatever you want, but I do believe, like, there is a place inside of me that believes we can get into a position similar to the Ottoman Empire. The way they had it, the systems they used, there's nothing stopping us from recreating it, just other people. I mean, it's happened before in the past. Why can't we do it now in the future? I mean, it's more than possible. But the Ottoman Empire from the year 1300 all the way to 1923, that was difficult to remember, they used something called a millet system, and they allowed everyone to practice whatever religion they please. And each community, which is called like a millet, had a representative which would go to the Ottoman Empire and represent them. But it extended even further, and what was really cool and what made the Ottoman Empire really successful is they gave power to each millet. So of course they had to answer to the Ottoman Empire and, pay their fair share and, work with them. But each millet had the ability to develop their own tax code. They did their own schools and education. They had their own laws. They had their own churches. They had their own legal system and judges and courts and everything, right? So the structure of the society, each religion, each community was able to decide how they wanted their community, their millet to be structured. And the Ottoman Empire was brilliant. I think it's one of the greatest periods in history and one of the things we really should be shooting for. We should try to model our society off of this because they were so successful. There's so much peace that went on. And the Ottoman Empire really shows us the true beauty and how successful Islam can really be, not only as a religious movement, but a political force. Like, people think that Muslims just hate Jews, and this is the furthest thing from the truth. Like, yes, there is some extremists, and yes, all of us has probably fell into that category at some point in time, including myself. But once we get out of the fear-mongering, when we get out of this low vibration state and we bring ourselves back into confidence, we start to see it for what it really is. We see rabbis like Rabbi Beck, and we see good members in the Jewish community and them stand up for the right thing. And what's really cool is in the Ottoman Empire, there's actually a period of time where there was Jewish refugees running to Turkey to try to be safe. And they protected them. They took care of them. You can see this really heavily in 1942 involving the expansion that went into Spain, and Jews were on the run. They were terrified. And so they came to the Ottoman Empire and they were protected. They took care of them. They did the right thing as we are taught in the Quran. That being said, I think we're kind of responsible and required to get familiar with NKUSA. This is the community that Rabbi Beck is involved with. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that name. I'm going to butcher it pretty bad. But NKUSA, and I think there's an NK Europe that stands against Zionism. And a lot of the time when you talk about it or you look it up, people are going to call them the ultra-Orthodox Jews. That's another name for it. These people have face extreme persecution. I mean, I found videos that I probably won't show in here because it's probably get taken down, but videos of the IDF just beating the hell out of these Orthodox Jews for no reason, just because they're standing against the Zionism. They think it's not right. They know genocide is wrong and they speak up against it. And some of these people have lost their life. Now, whether these people realize it or not, they're following portions of the Quran. Chapter 5, verse 8 says, "O believers, stand firm for Allah and bear true testimony. Do not let the hatred of a people lead you to injustice. Be just." And this backs this theory I've had for quite a while. And I know some people are really not going to like this. And by the way, some people have been coming at me. This is a sword. This isn't a cross. I'm not a Christian. I didn't leave Islam. I don't know why people are like having a meltdown about it. It's just a dagger. But anyways, I've had this theory for the past like 3-4 months that's been coming to mind. And I believe that people, regardless of what religion they're in, I think there's certain people that are able to find the word of God within it, right? So we talk about the Christian Bible. A lot of Muslims come on here attacking Christians all the time. Now, I've refrained from doing that, and I'm probably not going to attack them anytime soon. And because I believe in back where the Ottoman Empire was, and I believe we can come together, and we need to come together. Like, this isn't a time to be fighting. But Christianity, for example, like how we see the Bible, we think the Bible started out as the word of God and got corrupted. Well, I believe there is parts of the Word of God in there, and you can see it, right? You can see so many similarities between the Bible, between the Quran, and there's instances where word for word it's the identical thing. That tells me the Word of God is in there, and it's probably in the Torah too, right? There's probably multiple verses or even chapters where it's going to be almost word for word identical. And I believe God is guiding certain people that are in different religions, in different faiths, and they're able to just identify the Word of God. That sinks in with them, and they live their lives based on it. Even though they don't have the Quran, there's bits and pieces of the Word of God that's still touching their soul, touching their heart, and guiding them in life. That being said, I want to yap to you guys about one last thing. There's one last thing that's really sitting on my mind, and I just have to get it out. There is enough hate going on. I mean, we're looking for division, even within our own community. People are like, oh, Sunni and Shia and Quranist and all these different things, or Sufi, and it's just like Wahhabi, Salafi. Like, even within the people of the book, the people who have the Quran, we're trying to fight. And yes, I've done it too. I've caused more division too. But we need to stop this crap. Like, I get it. It's all around us and it's easy to fall into. But when we let go of that hatred and trying to point the finger at each other, you're going to be 10 times happier. I mean, this is the best I've ever felt in my entire life. Now, it's through working on myself in a multitude of things, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. I've taken care of myself, but now I'm at a place where I don't want to hate people. I don't want to blame other people, and we need to knock this off. I don't care if you're Jewish, Christian, Shia, Sunni, Sufi, Salafi, it doesn't matter. Like, yes, when people come at me, I will swing back, but I'm no longer swinging first. We're done with this. Now, on top of it, we are not taught to be this way. And I know people who attack Islam like to pretend that we're just like savages and we just want to destroy everybody else, but that's not true. Islam is not spread by the sword. It really isn't. We aren't crusaders. We show people the word of God and lead by example. We hold ourselves to a higher standard, and then people will come in on their own accord. They will see how happy we are in the face of chaos. Just look at Palestine. Look at those Palestinians, how strong they are. You know how many people opened up their mind and opened up their heart to Islam because of what the Palestinians went through and how strong they were? That is a perfect example of leading by example. And we have a very cannibalistic community right now. I mean, people, when I first reverted, everybody told me the same thing. They're like, oh, well, these haram pleas, just ignore them, oh, just ignore them. And I didn't know immediately how bad it was. And then it just piled on. So I lashed back. I said, screw your hadith, screw this, screw that, just to get everybody to unfollow, unsubscribe, and get them away. And I don't regret it. I wish I did it faster. But at the same time, we just don't need to be attacking each other. It's pointless. It's not going to get us anywhere. And it just makes us look silly and it makes us look weak. This isn't helping anybody. Chapter 3, verse 103 in the Quran. And hold firmly together to the rope of Allah and do not be divided. Remember Allah's favor upon you when you were enemies. Then He united your hearts. This isn't just guidance in the Quran. This is also a warning. We all know the term divide and conquer. We all know the system is doing these things to sit there and divide us, to make us fight amongst each other so they can win. And the more we be cannibalistic and eat off each other's plate versus the farm, the worse it's going to be. So it doesn't matter whether it's a Christian or a Jew. If somebody is sitting here defending the Muslim people, we need to accept it. And we need to extend the favor back to them. We need to defend them when they're under fire too. Now, that's all I got for today. I appreciate you guys. This has been on my mind super heavy for the past week. So I just had to get it out. And there was some Quran verses to back it. It was a really cool time. So I appreciate every single one of you guys. And I will see you next Wednesday.